He was the man who couldn't be killed. He walked barefoot over broken glass in Nakatomi Plaza. He saved the world from an asteroid with a smirk on his face. He was the boxer who refused to take a dive, and the cop who always got back up, no matter how hard he was hit. For 40 years, Bruce Willis wasn't just an actor. To a generation of men, he was the definition of American grit. He was the guy you wanted to have a beer with, and the guy you want on your side when the bullets started flying. We thought he was unbreakable. We thought John McClane would be with us forever. But life is not a movie. There is no script rewrite that can save us from the cruelty of biology. Today, at 69 years old, the silence coming from the Willis family is deafening. It is not just that he is retired. It is not just that he is aging. It is something far more tragic. The sharp wit, the fast-talking charm, and spark that defined an era of Hollywood is fading away right before our eyes. His close friend recently revealed a gut-wrenching truth. The joy of life is gone. In this video, we are not looking at a list of movies. We are looking at the final battle of a legend. We will uncover the heartbreaking truth behind his bad movies and why we owe him an apology. We will look at the medical reality of FTD. And most importantly, we will honor a man who is slowly saying the longest goodbye in Hollywood history. When the news first broke in 2022, the world heard the word aphasia. For most of us, we thought it just meant he had trouble speaking. We thought, okay, maybe he stumbles over words. Maybe he just needs to rest. We hoped for a comeback. But in February 2023, the diagnosis was updated and the hope was shattered. The condition is frontotemporal dementia, or FTD. Unlike Alzheimer's, which steals memories, FTD steals a person. It attacks the frontal lobes of the brain, the command center for personality, behavior, language, and movement. It is an aggressive, degenerative thief that takes away the very essence of who a human being is. Glenn Gordon Caron, the creator of Moonlighting and the man who gave Bruce his first big break, visits him every month. His description of his old friend is enough to bring tears to your eyes. Caron said, "My sense is the first 1 to 3 minutes he knows who I am." 3 minutes. That is the window. After that, the fog rolls in. Caron continued with a devastating observation. He used to be a voracious reader. He didn't want anyone to know that, and he's not reading now. All those language skills are no longer available to him. When you're with him, you know that he's Bruce and you're grateful that he's there, but the joy of life is gone. Just imagine that cruel irony. The man whose career was built on distinct, sharp dialogue, the man who made Yippee a global catchphrase, is now trapped in silence. Now, we have to talk about the elephant in the room. We have to talk about the misunderstanding that stained his final years. Do you remember the period between 2020 and 2022? Bruce Willis appeared in over 20 low-budget, direct-to-video action movies. Cosmic Sin, Apex, Fortress. The movies were bad. Let's be honest. Bruce barely moved. He had very few lines. He looked confused. At the time, the internet was ruthless. Critics mocked him. The Razzie Awards even created a special category called Worst Performance by Bruce Willis. People called him greedy. They said he was a lazy star cashing in on his name, trashing his legacy for a quick paycheck. We were wrong. We were so incredibly wrong. We now know the truth. Bruce Willis knew his time was running out. He knew his brain was failing. He wasn't being lazy, he was terrified. Reports from the sets of these movies are now heartbreaking to read. Bruce wore an earpiece because he could not remember a single line. He needed someone to feed him words. Step by step, on the set of White Elephant, he reportedly turned to a crew member, confused, and asked, "I know why you're here, and I know why I'm here, but why am I here?" He didn't know he was in a movie. So why did he do it? Why put himself through that humiliation? He did it for his family. He knew he would soon be unable to provide. He knew the medical bills would pile up. So he pushed himself to the absolute limit of his collapsing cognitive ability to stack up millions of dollars, ensuring that his wife Emma and his 5 daughters would be safe long after he was gone. He wasn't selling out. He was cashing out for them. In those bad movies, we didn't see a bored actor. We saw a father fighting a war against his own biology. He sacrificed his pride to build a fortress for his family. And that, gentlemen, is a level of heroism that John McClane never even reached. To understand the magnitude of this loss, we have to remember what Bruce Willis represented. Before him, the 1980s action hero was a god. Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone were bodybuilders. They were invincible machines who fire machine guns with one hand and never looked tired. Then came Bruce. In Die Hard, he wasn't a soldier. He was a New York cop with a hangover. He was separated from his wife. He was barefoot. He got cut. He bled. He cried. He talked to himself because he was scared. He changed the DNA of the American hero. He made the hero human. He represented the blue-collar toughness. The guy who isn't the strongest in the room, but the guy who simply refuses to quit. And he had range that his peers didn't. He gave us the stoic, prideful boxer in Pulp Fiction. He gave us the terrified time traveler in 12 Monkeys. And he gave us the ghost who didn't know he was dead in The Sixth Sense. He was cool without trying. He didn't need a cape. He didn't need CGI muscles. He just needed that smirk and that glint in his eye. Watching him fade is like watching the sunset on the golden age of Hollywood. They don't make stars like Bruce Willis anymore. Today, we have green screens and superheroes. Bruce was dangerous, unpredictable, and real. But even in this tragedy, there is a silver lining, and it comes from the fierce love surrounding him. Bruce Willis is what they call a blended family, and it is the envy of Hollywood. His ex-wife, Demi Moore, and his current wife, Heming Willis, have formed a protective circle around him. They call themselves the Ladies of Willis. His daughter, Tallulah, wrote a devastating essay for Vogue. She admitted that she missed the signs early on. She said, "I've known that something was wrong for a long time. It started with a kind of vague unresponsiveness." She talked about the pain of realizing her father would never give a speech at her wedding. She said, "He may not remember my name one day, but he knows my love." Demi Moore recently shared the advice she gives to her children. Meet him where he is. You cannot mourn who he was. You have to love who he is now. That is what they're doing. They're holding his hand as he walks down this long, dark road. Heming Willis, his wife, has become a warrior for FTD awareness. She calls herself a care partner, not a caregiver, but she admits the struggle. She said, "It's hard on the person diagnosed. It's also hard on the family. And that is no different for Bruce or myself or our girls. We are witnessing what his family calls the long goodbye." Bruce Willis once said, "Hair loss is God's way of telling me I'm human." He always faced life with humor, toughness, and a lack of vanity. Now he faces his end with silence. We cannot undo the past. We cannot cure FTD. The Bruce Willis we knew, the wisecracking detective, the savior of the world, is effectively gone. The man who remains is slowly slipping into the twilight. But legends don't die when their hearts stop beating. They die when we forget them. Here at the Seventh Lens, we are dedicated to keeping the stories of these legends alive. We refuse to let the new generation forget what real acting, real stardom, and real sacrifice looked like. If you grew up watching Bruce Willis on VHS, if you quoted his lines, and if you respect the battle he is fighting today, please join our community. Click that subscribe button right now. Not for the algorithm, but to say thank you to Bruce. And leave a comment below. What is the one Bruce Willis movie that you will never get tired of watching? Let's fill the comments section with tributes to the man. Stay strong, watch good movies, and never forget the legends. For the Seventh Lens, this is our tribute to the one and only Bruce Willis. We love you, Bruno.